it's Michelle from The Scattered Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. Today is day 6 of Thankful and Blessed, and today I am scrapping this picture of me that I took with my pressure canner. I am thankful for my pressure canner. I am going to be using this sketch here from Pagemaps. It's for an 8.5 by 11, but I'm going to stretch it out a little bit for a 12 by 12. I like how it has some layers and it has some cats on it, but I think I'm going to be using something a little different than cats. I have some scraps left over from a previous layout and some more papers picked out and a sticker sheet, so let's get started. For my main background, I have that green paper that's on the bottom of the pile picked out. And for the strips that are on the sketch, I'm going to be using some of my scraps here. And I have the flower paper and then this kitchen utensil paper here that I'm going to be using. I've got that little orange paper there to the side that I actually kind of forget about for a little while, but it'll come back into play. And then for the one of the darker strips, I picked out this one here with the little leaves on it. And then for the really big main layer, I picked out this little stripe here. And it's a teeny tiny stripe with all the colors of this particular collection. It's the DCWV Fall Gathering collection. It's from 2020, I think, if I remember that right. And here I was just trying to figure out, okay, which way do I need the lines to go and how big do I really need this? So I'm really kind of looking at the sketch and looking at this paper and looking at the sketch and looking at the paper to figure out, okay, about how big do I need to cut this? So I finally decided and got it cut, and I'm just following along with the sketch, and it has this particular layer with a notebook edge. So I'm excited because I actually have a notebook edge punch. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And how I like to do it is I start in the middle of where I want to punch, and I go all the way to the end on one side and then go back to the center and go all the way to the end on the other side. And that kind of helps me keep things straight. And then I decide that I'm going to ink the edges. And it seems like I am really into inking edges right now because I think I've done that on pretty much every layout that I've made recently. But I'm really liking how it really helps each of the individual layers stand out. So here I'm just going to figure out exactly how I want my strips to go and how tall I want them, because in the sketch they're all different lengths. So I'm just kind of looking and seeing what is going to look the best and then get that trimmed down. And I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm actually missing a strip. There is another strip in there that I didn't notice when I was first looking at this sketch, but I will find another piece of paper here in just a little bit. Look at the back of that paper. Isn't that funny? All those, I guess it's supposed to be pumpkin pie with a little swirled whipped cream on top. Oops. That is a really bold orange. I would have to use that paper in small amounts. But I'm going to get this down, and then I'm going to put my photo on top. And I don't like how my strips are basically the exact same width as my photo. I want them to be thinner. So here I'm just trying to get it, thinner so it's not as wide. And I tucked that one up under, but I didn't like that it covered up so much of the kitchen utensils because I really want you to be able to see those. And of course I had it down kind of crooked, so I had to straighten it back up. And here, that was when I realized, oh, there's another strip under there. So I got this paper here, and it's just got all of the different spices and stuff. And since I'm in my kitchen and I'm doing some canning, I figured, hey, this will be perfect. Spices work. So I'm just going to figure out how long that I want it to be and just cut that down. And then I'm going to ink the edges of it as well. And what I'm actually canning on that particular day was potatoes that I harvested from our garden. And I'm so thankful that I have this canner. My husband, he got it for me. He is so great about finding things. He's like a great thrifter. And he found this canner along with jars and things, and I was so excited because I have water bath canned for several years. I also helped my grandmother when I was little. Of course, at that time I wasn't really paying attention, so I kind of had to relearn when I got older. But I tell you, you cannot make grandma's beef stew if you don't have home canned tomatoes. It's just not going to taste the same. Of course, I can't make my grandmother's stew taste like my grandmother made it anyways, but it's much more close to the right flavor when I can use my home canned tomatoes. There's just something about home canned food. It's just so good. But I knew how to do that. I've learned how to do that, but I really wanted to have a pressure canner too so that I could do the non-acidic foods like vegetables, like the potatoes here, and meat. And then here I'm using the sticker sheet because it had the canning jars on it, and that was perfect. So instead of the little cats like what's in the sketch, I'm going to use these canning jars. And I don't know what exactly is in the jars, but they don't have the right headspace. Because if it's a juice or a jelly or something, then that needs to be filled up more. Now here I decided to put this little squirrel on here because I am squirreling away food for later. And I just thought that would be really cute. I mean, I will probably be the only one that gets that reference when I look at this page to have the little squirrel on there and thinking about me squirreling food away. But it makes me smile, so on it went. And now I've pulled off this little flourish here, and I'm trying to figure out a good spot for it. I really like the color of it, and I decided to just stick it here in this corner. And at first, I really thought that I was going to build a much bigger cluster there at the corner of my photo. But as it turns out, actually, I end up putting this little flower sticker here, and that's going to be it. That my attention goes elsewhere because, if you remember, there's that orange triangle over there that I need to do something with. And here's where I'm like, oh yeah, because I looked at the sketch and I'm like, there's something in that bottom right corner. So I'm going to use this scrap here to make the little, it's not really a banner, but I guess it acts like a banner. It's just a rectangle piece of paper. So I'm going to use this as the base. And I'm going to use more of the flowery paper. I really, really like that flowery paper. And I'm so glad that I'm getting to use the scraps from it. So I'm just going to trim that down and make it as big as I want it to be visually, where it looks good. I could have left it the bigger piece, but I didn't really like how large that it was. It kind of filled that space up a little too much. So I went ahead and trimmed it down and trimmed this floral piece of paper to go on top of it. So I'm going to get that stuck down with my ATG, which is about to run out. So I'm going to have to put new ATG tape in my ATG gun. Hopefully it's not going to run out on camera in the next video that I make, but it probably will. So you'll probably see that. Do look forward to it. And I did not have another canning jar on the sticker sheet, so I went ahead and put this sticker that says the best season of the year. And because I do quite a bit of canning in the fall, I'm like, yep, it's the best season of the year. Even though this is talking about canning, it's still in the fall. And it's, for me, the best season of the year. So some of the most fun things happen in the fall. And I got these little open hearts from the sticker sheet that I got my title from. And my title is Blessed. So I get the little hearts down. And then I have had these little cork hearts in my stash for several years. And I'm so excited that I am now finally getting them on a page. It feels so good to use the things that we get. And here I am doing my most favorite thing with enamel dots is to use 3 different colors in 3 different sizes. And I think these are Altenew. And they have some hearts and stars on there. And I thought about using the hearts, but I just went ahead and used the enamel dots. And surprise, surprise, I'm going to write a whole bunch of journaling on this page. I'm just talking about how I love having a pressure canner and how wonderful it is to be able to put up food for our family, like the potatoes that are in the canner. And that being able to store food that we grow in the garden for later is such a blessing. And it is definitely a blessing to have that ready on the shelf. Makes for really fast dinners too. It takes like 15 minutes to get tacos done when you've got ground beef already on your shelf. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope that it gives you some inspiration, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.